Do these pictures not make it abundantly clear that Nazism is in the blood of the Dutch, and that it is high time to invade the country, in order to rid the innocent population of this scourge? No. Then consider carefully that this is exactly what Putin is doing. He is using pictures of marginal groups to give the impression that they are representative of the entire country. Of course, there are neo-Nazis in Ukraine, just as there are in the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Austria, Poland, and Russia itself. Flag-waving idiots with tattooed swastikas can be found everywhere. In fact, if you look at the Ukrainian election results, you will notice that support for the extreme right is much lower there than in many other European countries. In Russia itself, the LDP are of the recently deceased Vladimir Zhirinovsky, who explicitly aligned himself with neo-Nazi groups abroad in the 1990s, has been the country's third largest party for years. When it happens in Russia, only suddenly they are no longer neo-Nazis, but patriots. It is true, however, that Nazism has a different perceived value in Ukraine than in Western Europe. Here, when we think of Nazism, we immediately think of the German occupation, Holocaust, treason, and collaboration. For Ukrainians, on the other hand, for decades not the Germans, but the Russians have been the occupier. The ideology of this occupier was not National Socialism, but communism, and since Stalin, Russian nationalism was an important part of this state ideology. The Homo Sovieticus might be Ukrainian, Latvian, or Uzbek on paper, but he spoke and thought Russian. Ukrainian was to be no more than a backward peasant dialect of Russian, best forgotten. Any expression of Ukrainian national consciousness was at the very least suspect, and was soon seen as an expression of Nazism. For many Ukrainians, this communism, which systematically presented itself as the greatest enemy of, and safeguard against, Nazism, was, and still is, a greater evil than Nazism itself. It is therefore not illogical that Nazi expressions are less taboo in Ukraine than, say, in the Netherlands,